started?
I guess so.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. This is Fujos to Men, a panel about the BL that shaped our gender. I'm Cody, also known as Kodyisover online. I make the webcomic Keeping Time at keepingtimecomic.com. And this panel is me and a whole bunch of other comic artists who are on that beautiful transmask FDM pipeline. We've got Nero, who does Ultraviolence, Jay Scott on Blue Hollow, Bob, Into the Smoke, and Zombie, whose covers you've seen on DC and DC Pride. And Nero, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit more?
Oh God. Hi. My name is Nero Viagaios O'Reilly. I draw comics. I live in Seattle, Washington. I'm gay as fuck.
Oh yeah. What's up, brother? Love that.
Trying to think of like a fun fact. What I've drawn is Man 2.0.
Deviant. Awesome. I see Zombie is up next on my screen. Zombie, would you like to tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yes. I'm Zombie or Robin. I live in Colorado. He, him pronouns, obviously. I'm mostly known for, like, vampire pins and art like that. And also, recently, some DC Comics covers. Also Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh,
what else to
okay.
say? I'm also gay as fuck. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Bob, would you like to go next?
Sure. I'm Bob. I also make comics. I make the webcomic Into the Smoke. I have a graphic novel coming out in a couple years. It's a trans thing, young adult horror. I really like Canada geese. I see them a lot. I'm in the Chicago area. And yeah, so I draw Canada geese and gay comics.
I feel like Bob is leading the geese fandom. Thank you for your service.
Yes.
And last but not least, we've got Jay Scott here.
Hey, what's up? It's me. I'm Jay Scott. Just Jay's fine. My pronouns are they, them. I live in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm probably best known for my illustrative works upon Rick and Morty and like a little bit Pilgrim. But volume 1 of my previous series, Please Please Forget Me, is on Itch, and that is probably also like BL tangential. It's an homage to Bancho and like Gekiga manga with a sort of like Adult Swim twist, I guess. It's about a closeted motorcycle gang leader and his ex-best friend. But the stylization of that one is definitely more reminiscent of like 70s manga. And I think it's super cool, but like it's totally different from the thing that I'm drawing right now, which is Blue Hollow, which is a supernatural Appalachian Gothic YA graphic novel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
and
so
I too am hella gay.
Yes.
All trans mask, all hella gay. We're happy to be here. Happy to have you all with us. And to get us kicked off, I just wanted to start off with this question of, my guys, what was your first introduction to BL? Were you immediately drawn to it, or was it more of an acquired taste for you? And as a disclaimer to the chat, we are all millennials and transmasked, and that's about to become your problem, because we're about to get real nostalgic up in here.
Yes.
For me, it was like super early, like really like elementary school. I came to it.
Dang.
Like it's as an adult, like it's always been an interest of mine for like basically my whole life. Which, you know, like if it's stuck around for that long, there's something there. But I remember like a really early moment right after the internet was born, coming across scans of a Matt and Ty Digimon doujinshi.
Wow.
And having no clue what doujinshi was at that time, but also like 100% understanding in that moment that relationship was like correct. I watched that series and I just like, when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, that must be like, I just haven't gotten to that episode yet. You know, like it just like 100% automatically clicked. And so, that was fun for me to think of as an adult, that I had such a like unbiased reaction to it in that moment. Though I did, as an adult, come to the conclusion that it is, in fact, Ken Ichijoji who is the gayest Digimon character. But that's a more enlightened adult opinion.
Okay, it's so funny because I had like a very similar experience to that, where it was actually like a Japanese GeoCities website full of Digimon fan art, and it was TK and Davis
Yes.
ship art that I saw that like was the first time I'd ever like seen the concept of boys kissing or something.
Yeah.
And it also circumvented like the potential homophobia I could have grown up with. I just didn't have the chance to learn that. That's so funny. Digimon really awakening people.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Bob, what about you?
See, I'm an elder millennial, so by the time Digimon came around, like my little brother was into it, and I mean that doesn't mean that I didn't notice things, but like for me it was like much earlier than that because I was in junior high and my friends were all into Sailor Moon. It was like the only things that you got back then was Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z. Those are the two choices on TV. And they were like, oh, did you know that this one character is actually a guy in Japan? And I was like, what? And I was
They're not
so
cousins?
upset, I believe. Yeah, they're not cousins. Yeah. So I got online. I was scandalized. I was like, how could they like change this? Like that's so unfair. Like how come they're just allowed to change the way it was supposed to be? And so that got me online. And then, that's how your life gets permanently changed. Because I wanted to see what else was different. And then that opened some doors.
Sailor Moon is ground zero for like so many queers, for real. Like, the energy is so strong.
Yeah, and it's like as my friends like grew up and turned into like cishet women and started like pining over the main hetero relationship, I was like, I don't know how to have a conversation with any of you anymore. Like I don't know, like I don't understand. And so I would just do what I do, which is, tell off color jokes and ruin everyone's fun. And, that went over really well. I mean, like, not on purpose. It's just I had nothing else to contribute to the conversation. So, because I was off in my little, like, who else is actually a guy in Japan?
Right.
So, yeah. Or who else could be?
I'm always asking this.
Nero, what was your start?
Oh, God. Okay, so it was kind of a combination of multiple things, but like one of the earliest memories I have of reading comics online was reading scanlations of Kaze Toki no Uta, the Wind in the Trees.
I remember that.
And then getting really, really normally into both like Zelda fanfic and Full Metal Alchemist fanfic. Like my
I just
intro
have to say real quick, like your work, I can totally see Full Metal Alchemist Dojinshi in it, like in the most loving way. You like took all the coolest parts of the like coolest FMA Dojinshis and you like
I love that
brought it into yourself. Sorry, please go on.
No, you're good. Like my intro to like the concept of gay sex was reading a Envy and Edward fic, and trying to understand where the penises were going, and I was like, is that going like inside his penis? Oh, that goes in the ass. You can do that? Oh, okay. Yeah, I was a Envy and Edward boy. I thought that was cool. It's still cool. Fight me.
It's still cool. It's still a really compelling ship. Sorry, not sorry.
I also went through the trouble of hunting down that one extremely famous fan.
Oh yeah, 1921.
Yeah.
By Hugo, who does Acid Town.
Yes. Oh man, that's good shit.
Yeah. That doujinshi was so incredible. It like fully sucked me in. It like has the dignity of a real series. It's like also like utilizes all the best parts of the like Conqueror of Shambhala like side quest world, I guess.
Yes.
Like I don't think that anybody really like got into that like canonically that much, but the fandom like had a field day.
Oh
with
yeah, I
Conqueror
thought it
Shambhala.
ruled. I wanted to see that in theaters. Did
Yeah.
not get the chance to though.
Totally, me too. It ruled.
about
It was
you, Cody?
awesome. It's such a great setup.
So I've like been trying to think of the answer to this question that I came up with for like, I don't know, the past week, and I genuinely cannot remember. I just remember like being online and like maybe I think it was Clamp probably. I think I went from Cardcaptor Sakura to buying Clamp manga, and that Clamp manga was Clover, which is still gorgeous to this day. Shout out to Clover if you have a hard copy of Clover. It's so beautiful. And there was one they did with like an agender angel, and I don't remember the name of it. I'm sure chat knows what it is.
Oh, I know what it is. I have it on my shelf.
Wish, right?
How do you have such good memories? Like, it's not fair.
But like,
Yeah, which?
as we're talking about it, was that an actual agender angel, or did they give it the Zoisite like cousin? Was it actually just a dude in Japanese? I don't know.
I think it was more ambiguous, but the conceit is that like yes, it definitely was toned down for English audiences.
It's Jotaro and Kakyoin with the serial numbers filed off, is what it is.
No, you're right.
Yeah, so it was Wish for me, and then actually someone just said it in chat that reminded me, Angel Sanctuary. So like I was really into anime, right? All throughout as a kid. Like my mom would rent me like Ghibli films, and then she came home one day from Blockbuster with the Angel Sanctuary OVA, not realizing she was about to make me very queer. Like, sorry, mom, you did this to me. And yeah, so I was obsessed with that Angel Sanctuary OVA, and the manga was not translated at the time, I don't think, but I like got my hands on an art book by ordering it like online off of a CD website that definitely stole my mom's credit card number afterwards. And yeah, it's just I don't know.
Tons. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's just like it like just opened my eyes. I was like, I didn't know that these things were possible. I didn't know that like I don't know, like it's what put like queer things on my radar, basically.
Clamp was always too powerful. I mean, and I support them in their power, but I mean, I get that 100% because yeah, I didn't actually see Angel Sanctuary, but you know, we'll get to it later. Some of the other Clamp stuff. So
Yeah,
it's
my mom got
like,
me X tapes, like X.
X. That was one. Yep.
Like the X movie, and she was like, she had no idea what it was, or like the Utena movie. She was like, "Oh, it's cartoons. Like this is fine, right?" No. And she just like never paid attention enough to be like, "Oh, you maybe like an 8-year-old shouldn't be like watching this or whatever."
yeah.
And now I'm an insane adult. So.
Someone also mentioned the Oran High School Host Club. Yeah, I felt very normal about that as a teenager. It's like, you can do that, interesting.
Oh, this sort of segues into my next question for you all, which is, so how did you access BL and yaoi stories and those spaces in your early years?
Napster.
Right? Robin laughing.
Stuff.
Okay, I
There's
want
like
you guys to tell your Napster and LimeWire stories because then I want to give the elder millennial ugly VHS version.
Yes. Kazaa, I don't know when. I feel like it was like Napster, LimeWire, and then Kazaa for me. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Kazaa.
And LiveJournal is my answer. Basically, like I immediately found community on LiveJournal as a 13-year-old, an 11 to 13-year-old.
Oh yeah. I was on a forum called Aaron Fantasy, or is it Aaron Fantasy?
Oh.
It's been so long.
Classic.
On there. I was just on there the other day.
It still exists.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
It's still
Oh,
there.
wow.
They're still running crowd funds to keep the lights on too. I send them a couple bucks every
Wow.
once in a while because I'm like, you're worth it.
Okay, well, we're giving them some free advertising right now. That's nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
Yeah,
shout
I
out
mean,
Iron
help
Fantasy.
'em
Yeah,
out.
like my
Keep 'em
friend wanted
alive.
to know where to watch I Know Kusabi, and I was like, I got you, babe. Like, here you
Yeah, they're
go.
doing
Yeah,
the Lord's
yeah.
work. They're definitely doing the Lord's work out there for sure.
Yeah.
I
Ooh,
bet
I
people listening
also.
Gaia Online. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gaia was a big one.
Mm-hmm. I definitely
I
had a
was
book
always
club,
just
like a
Googling
BL book
stuff.
club in high school.
Mm.
Like,
Wow.
you know, because like once I think the millennials get to the like vaguely high school era, there's like fake is starting to come out like in printed manga and stuff. So like a lot of the BL that I got, I just like traded with the like one like openly gay boy that was in high school that like had a 3-ring binder with like printouts of doujinshi in it. That like we would trade like BL volumes and like talk about it in our like teen book club. And I think that was like a huge way that I consumed like my early BL media. Shout out to Chris. Hey Chris.
Trying to get the fake
Okay, well,
proportions.
I gotta say then, how did I get my copy of Aino Kusabi? How did I get, my stuff? And at the time, because, well, okay, so here's how it was. You go online, there would be like a little website, and it would say, give me $2 as, per VHS tape for however many, each VHS tape can have like 2 to 4 episodes or like an OVA or something like that. And you go to the post office, get a postal money order,
Mm-hmm.
and which is like the bank writes you a check basically, or not the bank, the post office writes you a check, and then you send it by snail mail to this unknown person, and then you wait, and then they send you a box full of VHS tapes, and some of them would have like really fancy little like nice labels on them, and it's like they would be graded by quality, like if it was recorded direct from the Laserdisc, then it was like A+ quality, but then sometimes you'd have one that was recorded from a
Oh my
VHS
God.
of a VHS of a VHS, so you could like barely make out what you were seeing, but sometimes that's like the only thing you could get. So
Mhm.
like we'd have like this giant like cabinet just full of these like bootleg VHS tapes. And then so yeah, when
that
LimeWire
era.
yeah. So I welcomed LimeWire hardcore. I would I would burn those episodes onto a CD and print out my own labels and do a whole graphic design as my passion with them. Like my gravitation set was very nice by that era's standards.
Let me try to draw the gravitation boy from memory. I've been trying to draw a lot of these guys that we're talking about from memory. But yeah, that's so cool that you're there for the VHS sharing era.
Well, I had like old. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Finish up. Go ahead.
Oh, just that I had older Gen X siblings too, so like they were able to handle the money element and the postal money order thing. Like, so that was I was not quite old enough to be able to do it on my own, I would say, but they enabled me for sure.
It's funny when fan subbers on those old VHS tapes like argue with each other and like have beef in the footnotes.
I love that. That's the best part.
It's hilarious.
Zombie, I feel like I remember you telling me that you were on like GeoCities a lot, right? During this era, like of your early years.
Yeah. This is like, I feel like maybe, I don't know, kind of formative for me, where like, because I didn't go to like public school, so I don't have friends who were into this stuff. I was just alone with internet in my house, and like going on like Googling stuff and ending up on Japanese GeoCities and finding like fan artist websites where it was just all their art was posted there because they were websites, back when we had websites. And
old days.
and like finding just like the most gorgeous, like shippy fan art of whatever series you could think of. Things I didn't know what they were at the time because those things hadn't come over here yet. And like, yeah, a lot just, I don't know. I think about it a lot because it was such a mysterious and like magical time where you'd go exploring and find cool stuff on the internet. I don't know.
Yeah, like following
was
a,
a cool
like a web ring from one GeoCity site to the next site,
Yes.
and you like
Yes.
end up in fandoms that you've never even heard of this thing, but you're in love with it because like this art's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was how I found most of the like mainstream like yaoi stuff as well. Like that's how I saw all the stuff everyone was just talking about was just via hopping from site to site and just stumbling upon it.
Yeah, like I remember as a kid reading fanfic for things I've never even played. Like I remember my very first exposure to tentacle porn was like I don't know, I was in 8th grade, and it was
Real.
like a Final Fantasy VIII fanfic on somebody's website, not even fanfiction.net. Like they had their own dedicated website for their own writing, and I just loved their writing, so I read everything they wrote.
Amazing.
I had like almost a very similar experience with except I hadn't played the game, but I watched a friend play it. We would play Ocarina of Time and put Link in the corner so that the camera would like focus on him and we could like look at him because we were so normal. But there was a very popular tentacle porn fanfic of Link and the one water temple boss. That was like the weird
not that
gel
fish
creature.
prince?
Yeah. And I was like, wow, that's neat.
Yeah, incredible. I feel like we all came up around that same like if you don't like it, don't read it era of fanworks. Like
I miss that.
Yeah.
I do miss that. And like I remember printing out fanfic that I was reading or writing, and I remember my mom found one, and I told her I lied and said it was my friend's when it was very clearly mine. But yeah, I also remember printing out like scans, like scanlated manga that I would find. Like somebody mentioned it
Oh,
earlier.
Yeah.
I did that
Cody
too.
Yuki's
Yeah.
Boys Next Door. That was like I was obsessed with that one as a like when I was young. And I still have scans of it. It's followed me around from hard drive to hard drive to hard drive still now.
Oh my god.
And then like I was also really into like I've never read a single page of Sayuki, but like those boys were really cute. I like that artist. I love the art. And they did like a manga called Stigma that was like full color watercolor pages that I also bought off of a shady website, and I love that.
I have every volume of Sayuki.
Oh, yeah,
That was a big one for me when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
not
know
really
their name.
Japanese. What is it actually about?
Journey to
It's
the West,
Journey to
right?
the West.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, wait.
But,
I'm gonna
like with Bishonens, you
challenge.
know, who are toxic as
challenge.
fuck.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
they're
draw
so
every single
toxic.
Sayuki guy. Okay, there's the green guy. Sorry. I'll ask another question as I start to try to draw all the Sayuki guys from memory. So I guess this is the meat and potatoes of our panel, but what was the most formative or impactful BL or yaoi experience that you've had? Like, what about it impacted you so much? Like, was it a story in particular, a moment in a story, or a moment in your like fandom or life?
I have a very specific moment.
Hell yeah.
It's like hyper specific. So in my early 20s, right when I was sort of like beginning my career in comics, I was working at this comic shop called Stories in Richmond, Virginia, and we sold a lot of like secondhand lots on eBay, like, you know, partial runs of stuff. And one day somebody bought a partial run of the first half of Banana Fish.
Ah.
I had read like some of those chapters like on and off. It was in Pulp magazine for forever, and I think like America Extra. But I was a kid, and so it totally went over my head. So when I went to go pull this lot, it was like so funny. In the warehouse room that it was at, the shelf was so high that the like fluorescent light bulb had gone out, and we couldn't get up to replace it because there's like too much stuff. So it was like dark as hell in there, except for one window, and the window was, I kid you not, shining like a Jesus ray, like directly on Banana Fish, like an angel from above shining a bright spotlight on it. And so I sat down and I was like, oh, what's this? I remembered it from being a kid, and I looked at it again with the eyes of a young adult. So I like read the first 10 pages and like that was it. I read the full first volume like right there. And now I own every piece of collector's merchandise the original manga produced. But I think
It's
that
meant to be.
what it gave me was like a broader understanding of the genre and like what was possible to do with it. Up until then I had like definitely taken elements of BL like seriously in my mind, like I don't know, just like the uncanny overwhelming correctness of an MLM relationship. But on the whole I hadn't really like interacted with that material more, beyond something that was like largely gimmicky and comedy, like fake, or like deeply messed up and problematic, like Yami no Matsue. And so they were both sort of like bananas to the extent that I what the level of plausibility I was bringing to the read like had never been like super high, I guess. So as like a burgeoning queer American fan, there's like a lot about Banana Fish for me to grab onto. Like, it takes place in like pre-Bloomberg era New York in the 80s, like Taxi Driver New York. And the plot is like crazy. It's way more complicated than like anything I had ever read up until that point. It's about the Corsican mafia selling mind control drugs to the US government, who will then like turn around and use them to destabilize like communist entities in South America. It's like it's like a drama, but the real story, of course, is about Ash Lynx, truly the world's most unfortunately sexy teen gang boss. And I just like had a really like intimate connection with that story at that time. Like Ash is just cool, right? He's just super cool. He's a super genius with like the highest IQ ever. He his like fighting instructor was a like ex-KGB assassin. He's a dead shot with a revolver that he like modified to slow him down because he kills too good. Like despite like constantly being brutalized and traumatized and like suffering at every possible turn, he maintains this like really like a gentle heart, and he like stays the course. And for me, going through that experience of reading that series, I was like, oh shit, like super flawed, complex people whose sexuality is layered by trauma and circumstance and their gender as well can be like BL protagonists. Like, that's crazy. Suddenly I'm taking it more legitimately. So like after I read Banana Fish, I like really dug in hard into BL because I was still kind of like chasing that same high of discovering a story of that caliber that was like speaking to me in such a direct way. And it like felt a lot like hitting a pinball bonus streak, like bing 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 bing, like points racking up. And fortunately Banana Fish doesn't stand alone in its like singular coolness at this point. There are like a ton of other like involved, well-written titles out there that I love and respect. Like Acid Town or Canis or my like big fave Twittering Birds Never Fly. But like Banana Fish cracked me open in a way that no other read had, because I took that material more seriously. And so that made me take myself as a reader more seriously. And that was like a huge step towards some really important self-realizations that I had later on that, Cody, I think you have some questions later on that sort of like circle that drain. So I'll come back to it. But small subnote is that at that time, I also started playing the Rockstar video game Bully, which is the other cornerstone of, I guess, my like queer artistic voice, I guess. So if you haven't played that game, Bully is also extremely homosexual.
Oh, homoerotic.
Wildly. That's all.
And yeah. As a fun like side note, I actually knew Jay before I met Jay through a Bully zine, which was very good and very gay.
Indeed.
Yeah, go ahead, Robin.
Oh, I was just gonna say my answer for this question is literally just encountering the raw sexual magnetism of Yami-Yugi. Like, I got super into Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was like a young teen, and that was such a huge, like, it was such an all-consuming, autism-fueled, like, obsession of mine. Like, I, like, played the card game and all this shit, and then, like, drew nothing but Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan art for, like, 4 years or whatever, and Yami-Yugi in particular was just, like, a huge part of, like, I don't know, shaping my early teen identity, and, like, it kind of surprisingly traveled all the way to now. It's so silly. It feels silly, but like, I don't know, he's hot and mysterious. He lost his memories. He's goth. He has chemistry with all the other characters. And I was really into like pride shipping, which is Kaiba and Yami-Yugi, and also puzzle shipping, which is Yugi and Yami-Yugi. It's just like best friends could be like in love, or rivals could be in love. Either way, destiny's involved. I don't know, man. Hard to overstate the chokehold this character had on me, like, influentially, like, from style to gender to all of it. Feels silly.
No, it's awesome. And honestly, every time you teach me something new about Yu-Gi-Oh, I feel like my life is enriched for it.
Yu-Gi-Oh is totally drag. Like that.
Yeah, it's so drag. It's high camp, okay? The whole thing is very high camp. And, like, you know, that was the first time I saw a character where I was like, oh, I want to be that guy, you know? And I was also really caught up with the idea that, like, you could manifest a more confident and masculine persona in times of stress, become your own sexy, powerful ghost that possesses your body sometimes, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you have the power.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels great. I mean, it's sort of like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure level camp that I feel like, you know, resonates no matter how old you are. I mean, it's like fun and exciting when you're a kid, but then especially as a queer adult, you're like, wow, there's a lot of stuff here that's cool. Like, I never really got into Yu-Gi-Oh, but I have always, like, greatly admired and enjoyed the character designs, like, specifically because they're so camp. And, you know, like, that's queer. Let's go. Big hair, let's go.
What about you, Nero? Any informative or impactful moments or stories? Other than like... the link camera thing you folks are doing.
we would sit there and like look at him for like an hour. Like, I am not kidding. It was normal behavior for 12-year-old girls, quote unquote girls. I'm trying to think of like a specific moment. A lot of it was like, so a lot of like my own like gender is also tied to like my sexuality as like a gay dude. So a lot of it is like thinking of like not necessarily like one specific character, but like pairings of characters and being like, yeah, that I want to do that. Oh, good. Somebody posted the self-ship art of Araki and Rohan from JoJo's. I was just going to mention JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Jotaro and Kakyoin is like everything. I love those two. Trying to think of specific moments. Come back to me. Come back to me.
Okay. Bob, you got anything for us?
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, you mentioned Clamp.
Yes.
Clamp, you know, it's just... So my big Clamp series were X and Tokyo Babylon, and if you ask me to remember like any specifics for like almost either of them, like the only specifics I remember are like the glorious spoilers and nothing else, and the angst and misery and just like, you know, crying into your shirt collar and like all that sort of thing. But what stood out to me was just like they really, really played fast and loose with gender. And it's like the freedom of that, it's like there are no rules. And that was really what I internalized from that, is like because I'm very non-binary, transmasc, but in, you know, that flavor.
Binary way. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And just
use non-binary?
Yes. Yeah, and all the Clamp, yeah, this is what, yeah, there are never enough shoulder pads in Clamp, you know, It's like those are the things I remember were like the angst and the shoulder pads and
Crazy outfits, yeah.
The outfits, they were just very, very fancy, and I feel like I fell off of Clamp when the new stuff came around, and it seemed a lot lighter and fluffier than what I remember, though I haven't like dug deep enough into anything later. But yeah, I mean that really sums it up actually.
This is just a passing thought I had, but I remember when Chobits came out, I was like, I don't think I'm the target audience for this one.
Yeah. It's like where are the gay guys killing each other? Like, come on.
Sorry, I do remember, and I don't know how I forgot. So, okay. Specifically gender moment, there is this series that, again, I don't know how I forgot because this is like my life. Kaiji, the Ultimate Survivor. How many people are familiar with Kaiji?
Never heard of that one actually.
Oh,
Neither.
Oh boy!
Really?
Oh boy!
You get to teach us.
Okay.
Right, man.
Iris just in all caps. Here we fucking go. So it is a series about a man who cries and sucks all the fucking time. He believes in people too much and is terrible at gambling. But he is hopelessly addicted to gambling. And I love him so much. And I think I saw it was a lot of like art of him and like older men, and I was like, wow, I can suck and be a man. That's awesome. It's so good. It's by a artist named Nobuyuki Fukumoto. Yeah, Zombie knows exactly what I'm talking about. Those
That's what he
beautiful
looks
noses.
like, and he has a huge pointy chin.
Yeah. It
That's
was. I
pretty
got
much
into
what
it 'cause I was interested in like mahjong, and I got into Akagi, which is the author's mahjong series. All of the stuff he does is about gambling and games and such. But
Real fast, I need to point out someone dropped an actual photo in the chat, and
Yes!
I'm just like going back and forth between it and zombies. And Zombie, you nailed it.
I have a friend who was really into kaiji, so I know.
Good, you
Design is,
understand.
Like, so distinct and cool.
He's
wow.
always nude and crying and like begging at the feet of older men. It's such a good series, and just it hit at such a specific point when I was like an early teenager. Like I had watched the anime with a bunch of friends on Tumblr, like the first season, and I was just like, damn, wow. Everyone should read Kaiji. It's just I love there's something that's very refreshing about a character that I'm trying to think of like the way to word this, like a character that has a level of masculinity but also still sucks shit, and also loves his friends very much. It'll turn you gay and it'll make you want to murder capitalism forever. I credit that to
that sucks shit. I mean, isn't that kind of why we enjoy also like old man yaoi too?
yes.
Right?
Oh, that's a
Like-
premium old man yaoi series. I mean, all of Fukumoto's stuff is, but
Yeah, people that suck or are gross are like so interesting. They're way more interesting and have like more nuances.
Yeah,
yeah,
like
emotional vulnerability without sacrificing masculinity. He's
Mhm.
always crying. I love that.
got like some other trans mask friends who like their gender is like those pretty guys from Pokemon, like those long hair, pretty. And then I love that Nero's out here like, no, this sopping wet, pathetic excuse of a man.
Yeah, let men cry.
Let men suck.
He is always crying. I cannot understate this. He's always crying and fucking up and just like being just a petty little fucker. But he also loves his homies so much.
Well, that's a really good segue into the next question, which was, did your interest in BL lead to any gender awakenings for anyone here? It sounds like yes, for almost all of us.
Absolutely. Okay, I can go again.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it.
Okay. Well, I guess there's like a little bit of backstory that needs to go into this, which is I was like about 15 years ago, I was in a really bad relationship with a cishet man. You know, because like that's what I thought I was supposed to do, but you know, I had trapped myself and it wasn't working, and I knew that, and I was like right up on the edge of like understanding who I was, but I like wasn't quite there. And at that time, I was really seeking out like escapism from fandom, like pretty intensely, to try to like pipe off some of the incredible pressure of that situation, right? So, you know, at the straight relationships just didn't make sense to me. They felt like artifice. But you know, this BL stuff though, there was just some about it. And I think probably because a lot of the same reasons straight cis women like BL are things that you know I also share. It's like a removal of like cis female sexual politics, like gender inequality, or even to a certain extent like physical appearance, like removing that from the romantic narrative. Is sort of, you know, the equality had a different quality to it, I guess. I just wanted to put like female baggage down in my reading experiences. And when I did that, I found that I was free to think harder, because the material continued to be like very compelling to me. And once I kind of like identified like, oh, I like this because like women don't want to be like treated like a possession or whatever, like that's your like cishet first read, is that like, okay, let women be horny. But then I was like, okay, well, I see that, but there's more. Like, what is it? What is it? And I was reading like seriously. I was taking it a lot more seriously than like probably straight up I should have been. But you know, the pipeline is real from like I want to have that to like I am that. And so, right, you know, like coming out is its own unique experience for everyone, but BL like really cracked the lock for me, because it let me extrapolate personal truths from examining my perception of the genre. So, you know, like BL saw me before I saw me. So thank you, BL.
Ooh, I like that.
That's lovely. Yeah, like for me, like I was always drawn to BL and I didn't really know why. And like I was at the same time as I was really involved with more of like BL and yaoi fandoms online, I didn't really have like the vocabulary or any sort of queer support outside of that, especially not in real life. So I would like sneak into Borders, a magazine section, and I would like look for like the queer magazines and never work up the courage to actually buy it. But I do remember I bought a magazine once, and the only mention of it, of like someone transmasculine that I saw, because at this point, like I sort of had trans feminine like identities in mind. I was like cognizant of them through like things like Paradise Kiss or like Cowboy Bebop. Like I understood that that was a possibility, but I didn't really know that, you know, FTM was a thing that could happen, except for one magazine that I found in Borders, and it did mention a transmasculine man, and it had a photo of him, and he was very, very like obviously been on HRT for a while, full beard, very like passing, and it was a small little blurb about him and his wife. And so I was like, that was my only idea. I was like, oh, if I can't be a guy because I'm not, then I would have to be a straight guy. Like that was the only option to me that I thought was available at the time. And that was just kind of reaffirmed. So yeah, and it was like reaffirmed by like the people I was hanging out with online. I was always playing a MMORPG called Ragnarok Online, which like I was able to like tell people I was a dude there, and they believed me, and it was like the best 2 years of my life. But they also were sort of reinforcing the idea that, oh, you can't be a dude and like a trans dude and be gay. Like you can pick one or the other. Like you can like dudes or be a dude. Pick one. So I think that was sort of my gender experience. But I did like I tried to draw my guy from memory, but like Fushigi Yugi, I just wanted to mention it very quickly. I loved that anime as a kid, and Tasky was my gender awakening because, like, you know, it's like, you know, reverse harem. There's like the one girl and all of the hot guys around her. So, you know, it's more fun to ship the hot guys with each other. There's no heterosexual reason that Chichiri and Tatsuki get a duet song. I'm just saying. But
So true.
yeah, so for there, like, that was the kind of guy I wanted to be, like, a sort of like Japanese Yankee, like, delinquent. But it wasn't. Yeah, I wouldn't circle back to realizing, oh, I can actually just fucking do that until my 30s. Like,
You do. Keep
If you
going.
want to be a gay guy, you can just be a gay guy.
yeah.
Turns out.
I didn't realize that Chichiri and Tatsuki have that kind of connection. Everybody, Cody told me to rewatch the series, and then I said yes, I wanted to rewatch the series anyway. But I've only made it through the first season. When does stuff heat up with Tatsuki and Chichiri?
I feel like this was more wishful thinking on my end because I finished my rewatch of it, and I think I was too influenced by Dojin. And I think the reason that they get shipped together is because they're, spoiler alert, the only two that are left alive. So,
Oh, right. Wink wonk. Who are you gonna kiss if everybody's dead?
I drew
Bob,
an egg.
Mine's probably Hiro Yui. That's
oh,
Wow.
Gundam.
yeah, from Gundam Wing. That's probably me. Like,
Oh yeah.
he's a funny guy, right? Like, he's a suicidally motivated teen space assassin with no correct emotional gauges or perception of self, other what like the system has told him to be. But somehow, through war, still discovering his own correct personal ideologies and like revealing the true secret helper within. But you know, like, only after he hangs out with his other gay friends. Like,
Yeah, actually, like, Gundam Wing was definitely one of my earlier BL, like I watched the series, didn't understand it, like the politics of it all, but I sure as hell shipped those boys.
extremely shippable.
Yeah.
Everyone, every single one. Trace, Zex, Sally Poe, everyone. Not really enough. She can't stay. She's got to go. don't care
Bob,
if it's
did you have
birthday,
any
I will.
did you have any specific gender awakenings in relation to BL and your exposure to it?
Yeah, I mean, I do want to emphasize just like how deep of a sleeper I was in terms of gender awakenings. Like it took a really, really, really long time because like even though I knew that I was like messed up, I mean I say that fondly, of course. Like I didn't like have a label for it until like, you know, God, like 30s, you know. So I didn't have gender awakenings immediately, but like I knew I vibed with it because there was just this, for me, being like a flavor of Asian that is not Japanese. So it's like it's not my culture, but also like the American media I was watching was very much also not my culture, and I kind of felt very disrespected by it or misunderstood by it, and definitely never saw like any semblance of myself in either male or female characters in most of the American media I was watching. And then, you know, I start watching anime and BL, and there's just like the variety in the types of men, the type of manliness that's presented, like just the different ways that a person can be, present and actually still be framed as masculine.
Yeah.
And it's just like so different from what I ever saw in American media. And I was like, oh, you know what? I get this. And like this guy is probably around my height. You know, like that sort of thing. And it was just, it opened a world in terms of like, yeah, like there was that connection that I just didn't feel in like the American media, especially of the time. And I will say, like, I never, even with the variety in female characters, I still never really felt that connection there. Like I really only felt it with the male characters, or like the kind of genderless playing fast and loose with gender characters.
Right.
And yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I feel that. Like the view of masculinity was so much more expansive in just like anime and manga and BL.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well,
It's like, with shonen, at least, like, the writers are often trying to, like, give lots of dignity and agency and intelligence to, like, male characters.
Yeah.
And so, like, it totally makes sense to me from a cis and a queer perspective to be like, hey, yo, these male characters are more interesting because they're more developed. Like, like
that is also true. But
like, be for real. Tolkien, for example, loves all of his male characters. Arwen, no lines. You know, like, it makes sense. And it's, like, unfortunate that that's the way that it is. But it is also incredibly queer to, like, zoom in on this and be like, yes, correct.
But then, you know, when the female characters are super developed and get all the lines, I'm like, oh wow, I love her. I so am not her, you know?
yeah, it's
yeah.
like, yeah.
Totally.
It's like a love that, like, I don't like. Yeah, I don't see myself in this, but I love it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because there's
Love this for you.
some-
No,
yeah.
thank you.
Yes, exactly.
I love this for you, yeah.
Yeah, like I've got like trans femme friends who like really love what is her name? Misaki from Evangelion? Misako?
Yeah.
Oh, Misato.
Misato,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I love her too, but I can tell I don't have the same like identification with her as they do, and I'm just like, yes. A handshake across the aisle. I know we're coming towards the end of our panel, so I've got a couple more questions. Maybe we'll get through just one of them, but so I wanted to ask, since we're all cartoonists, we're all comic artists, we're all artists, has those early BL and yaoi tastes like shaped your artistic sensibilities today? I know none of us really have like a style that would be straight up anime, but I personally feel like I can see it influencing every single one of us. I'd love to hear your folks' thoughts.
Definitely.
I can go second because I have to find a visual example first, real quick.
Well, I can say, aside from Yu-Gi-Oh, have you ever read Man's Best Friend by Takashima Kazusa?
I have
Because
No.
that comic,
Yes.
you know, the dog fucking one. Doesn't actually fuck the dog, but like it's a dog who turns into a guy. It's a whole thing.
Oh, like little Pet Shop of Horrors, like, oh man.
That like the first time I saw that comic, like that was such a like, yes, there it is in the chat. That
Yeah.
like that was like the most amazing art I had ever seen at the moment. Like when I saw it, and I was like, oh, it like expanded my art brain in that moment. And like that was a huge influence on me. And then like around the same time, I also discovered Jiraiya's art, which is more of an obvious influence on me now.
Oh yeah, totally.
But yeah, those are like the like gay comics spectrum of influence for me, aside from Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's really neat to see, like, especially with people who do the kind of work that we do, like, you can, if you look at their work close enough, you can see that, like, inner title within, you know, like, that, like, old-ass anime or, like, old BL. You know, it's like with Hamlet Machine, it's, Pat Labor and Aino Kusabi. And with, Joe from Superpose, it's Vision of Escaflowne. And, you know, like, yeah, it's what Nero said. It's interesting that there's like these core titles that really like creep into the DNA, and in a cool way. You know, like it's worth giving it a second look. Like, why is this so important to me? Like, why did this hit so hard? It's just fun. It's just fun to think about.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I never really like, in terms of art style, I have a really hard time evaluating my own. But in terms of themes and story, I can't, I mentioned Tokyo Babylon, and I have to acknowledge that my webcomic is about like a medium and an evil spirit and lots of things happening and drama around possession and stuff like that. And it's probably not a coincidence, like these characters I've had for a very long time, and like I think there are just certain things that do kind of like those formative series kind of seep into your DNA a little bit, and then like 20 years later you're like, maybe I'll write about a medium because it sounds interesting. And like I do think that sort of thing kind of it follows you in a way.
Totally, and it makes it kind of interesting later on to like once you have created the work and you kind of look back and you're like, okay, like I know Kusabi is like the thing that touched this. You kind of like go full circle and return back to that original work and you're like, what did I see about myself in this work? Like, why did this touch me? And then you go back and you look at your work and how your work was influenced by that work. And you really, it's all about you, like, right? Like, it all comes back to, like, what is it that you were trying to explain to yourself or, like, communicate about yourself?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's cool and neat. And that's what art does. Like, we should see ourselves in it and then share that vision with others who can see themselves in that. You know, it's cool.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add really quickly, you had mentioned Yami no Matsue, which, like, love the absolutely toxic relationships, but like the thing that really stuck with me on that one, it was the first time that I really saw like a BL type series that had like the balance of, a really interesting plot that like completely sucked me in, but also the gay was like overt. And it was on the page, and it was on the screen, and you didn't have to pick and choose and be like, oh, but if I want to tell a genre story, I can't actually show this much. It's like, no, you actually can. And yeah, I thought that was great.
Mm-hmm. That was such a fun and interesting moment. Yami no Matsue, wasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like I don't have Angel OCs anymore, so my Angel Sanctuary influence maybe like didn't last as strongly as I'm realizing that Yuwatase and Fushigi Yugi has had on me. And of course, not BL, but Ayazawa, who did Paradise Kiss and Nana.
But Nana, classic forever.
I feel like we're all of that exact same generation too, where when we wanted to start doing art in a more professional sense and not as teenagers, not as fans, the like discussion about it around then was that anime influence bad. You can't get into art school with it. And so like I really trained myself out of drawing anime. So I always wonder like, I wonder what I would be drawing like now if I hadn't done that.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, anybody who tells you that it's like inappropriate to put fan art like online or like on your portfolio or whatever, like I don't know, give it a second thought, because people look for genuine love and passion. Like that's what they care about. That's what producers care about, is whether or not one, you have the technical skill, and two, you have the drive. And people who draw fan art like love it. Like that's the good stuff. So like never let anybody shame you out of drawing anime for like any reason. If it gives you joy and like gives you the juice, like let's go.
Yeah, I know for a fact me and Robin both got our like professional starts from fan art. So
fan art specifically is why DC reached out to me. So like
yeah.
No, yeah, I have my entire career because of fan art. To thank you to fan art.
Yeah, I know we're almost out of time. I wonder if we have a little bit of leeway to take some questions.
I forgot to follow up on my thing.
Oh, go for it.
I totally forgot. I'm sorry. I was so excited listening.
Okay, Nero, go for it, and then we'll see if we've got time for questions.
Yeah, but it was on influence.
Sorry, I'm gonna say I'll borrow you 2 seconds to say, yeah, you can just go for like 5 more minutes. So no problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But on influence, with like doujinshi and like BL stuff, I was looking for a name, and there was a kaiji fan artist that I actually, when I went to Japan, I hunted down some of their doujins so I could like have them in our home forever. Yes, we're back to kaiji. It never ends. But an artist named Takashi that like I pretty much like cribbed like half of my inking style from, and they disappeared off of the internet after like a anthology project went like so bad. It like they essentially like removed their entire website and pulled their Pixiv down and everything, and I was so bummed. But I'm keeping their inking style in my brain forever.
That's awesome. You're gonna have to like drop pictures in chat so we can see, or in the thread, folks in the chat right now.
Yeah, I'll put it in the thread. Yeah,
we do have a thread for this panel, so you can also continue asking us questions there. But yeah, if anyone has any questions for us, we're just gay cartoonists.
We are simply humble gay cartoonists.
Nero, would you be able to repost the link to the thread in chat?
Oh, Vert just did.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Megan, I see.
thanks. Yeah, Megan. Thanks
Hi,
everybody for
Megan.
joining.
Before we
Thanks so
hop
much,
off,
everybody.
yeah. Did we have any like last minute recommendations or anything?
Ooh, other than everyone should
Closing
check out
words.
I'm not
the
prepared.
webcomics of everybody who's on this panel. We should go.
We
I'll
can
go
drop that in the
post our.
thread, right?
Yeah, we'll drop that in the thread.
Yeah.
Shit.
If you like Yakuza drama, read Twittering Birds Never Fly. I'm obsessed.
Correct.
I'm obsessed. We're winding down to the finale. It's been running for 15 years. There's a lot of Yakuza drama. So if you don't like about politics, maybe no. But I don't know. I think it's like the smartest series that's running right now.
Dang, no, I'm like drawing a huge blank. I think I'm just too webcomic pilled, so I'll just like.
Same.
Oh, yeah, and also
I'm, like,
read
trying to think,
everybody's
like-
webcomics that are here. They
I'm
all
just trying to
rule.
think like what BO have I been reading recently? I will say the one that I want to read was the summer that Hikaru died. That's next on my radar. So
Yes. That
Oh,
was
that
gonna be
got
my
an anime.
recommendation, actually.
That's gonna be on Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh.
Okay, well I better read before I watch. I like to do that order if I
Run.
can. Yeah.
Run, don't walk.
Okay.
My additional recommendation is if you want to be a hot yaoi boy, you can just do it. It's fine. You can just do it.
That's tricky.
You can just
Yeah.
do it.
Like
Yeah.
I transitioned in my 30s. I don't like I'm not really sure everybody else's story here, but like just fucking do it. It's never too late.
Yeah.
It is never too
Yeah.
late.
Same.
Lots of people come to it late. I did. You know, that's okay.
It's it's okay.
Enter the Sasunaru relationship of your dreams by being two hot yaoi boys.
Oh, everyone go see the Hidden Inventory movie in the theater. That's coming out soon. Sadosugu, that's the king of ships right now, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Well, yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. This was a really great time. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody.
See you around.
Thank you.
Join us in the
Wow.
thread.
Yeah, do I end the stage? I actually should have checked that.
I'm assuming it's not
I'm
me.
gonna let the mods do
I'll
it.
do it. I'll do it, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for hosting the fun. It was a great time.
Thank you.
Thank you for accepting this panel.
Yeah, thank you for moderating too.
Anyways, have a
Yeah,
good night,
everybody.
everyone. And
Bye.
enjoy the rest of the con.
Bye.
Bye.